Alright guys, this is like my fourth time trying to record this, so bear with me. This is going to be for the fireball build. We're going to try to cover it the best we can. Let's get started. There's going to be 3 weapons that you'll use. It's Hymn of Ice Frost. It's pretty straightforward. Every time you basic attack 5 times, you're going to get a damage boost, okay? Voice of Heaven. All basic skills are going to get a damage and boost. We're using basic attacks. Keep up, guys. You know, this is going to be straightforward. Alright, the damage is going to change. Each item is going to have a different percent change depending on what grade or quality your item is, okay? But these are the items you'll need. Third item you'll need in your weapon slot. Snow Realm. Attack speed increase, okay? Doesn't matter where you have these. You need these 3 weapons. You could have, you know, Hymn of Frost in your residence box and the other one on your character. Doesn't matter. Next up, Dragon Bone Altar. This is the multicast weapon, or I'm sorry, the multicast armor. In a nutshell, the more critical hit, the more critical chance that you have, the more chances you're going to have to multicast up to 5 times, okay? Read this if you want a more in-depth deal, but in a nutshell, the more crit you have, the more chance you're going to have to multicast. Milky Way Vortex. This is going to give you a damage reduction and fire damage increase. Have to have this amulet. The element set. This is what makes it work. Okay. Critical hit. It's going to increase your base damage. Okay, every time you critical hit, it's going to give you a 500% base damage increase in your auto attacks. It's huge. And then your 4 piece is the only reason this build works. So Turncoat is your ultimate ability. This right here. Okay. Turncoat is your ultimate ability. When that is up, you're going to get a 200% attack speed increase and a 3000% critical damage increase, okay? That is ridiculous. Absolutely bonkers, okay? So Turncoat has to always be on, and I'll show you how to do that later. Ring. There's only 2 you're going to need. Dreamland Ring. This is the one for every point of recovery efficiency you have. You're going to get a damage bonus, okay? Now, that stat only comes from the pet. I know. You have to spend money to upgrade this guy, but even level 1 makes a big difference, okay? So make sure you have this pet and make sure you're spending all your gold on him. Second ring. Ring of Flame. At the cost of 10% of your life down to 50%, you're going to get a damage bonus increase. If you don't like it, you don't like your health going down, get a Blessing of the Moon Goddess. Okay? 40% elemental damage increase while giving you 40% elemental damage reduction to every element. Your pants, yep, your green item. Your boots, your green item. Simple as that. Stats, try to get CDR and crit rate on all your items as much as you can, okay? Try to get as much as that on every single item as you can get. Because this build's heavily auto attack based. And if you can get as much CDR and crit rate on your gear, you won't have to use this part of your gems to compensate for it, okay? And then you can just put attack speed on every single one. All right? See, I have to use 3 CDRs because my gear's crap. I'd rather put attack speed here. So crit rate and CDR is huge. All right? Try to get 75% elite damage if you can, or somewhere near it. Okay, if you can get somewhere near it, you can come in here and put this on. It's going to give you 20% damage to elites, and that counts. You'll take 20% more damage, but it counts. Okay, so try to get CDR, try to get crit on your gear. Make sure you're getting a socket, okay? Sockets are kind of like over everything, all right? The reason I say this, sockets are over everything when it comes to the important gems, okay? So definitely try to get try to make sure you're getting sockets for your weapon and offhand. Okay, so if you absolutely have to roll for a socket, you have to absolutely re-roll an item, roll the socket. You're going to get more value out of the gem socket than you are rolling the stat on the item, okay? Does that make sense? Like, the max you can get is a 9% CDR. Okay? So, if you're like, oh, I need CDR, I'll just roll CDR instead of the socket on the item. You're going to get a 9% CDR versus if you were to socket it, you're going to get a 12. Okay? So, that's good information for you. You won't be able to roll crit and CDR on every item, but make sure you're checking it when you re-roll. Okay? Try to get those 3. Do pay attention to what items give you what sockets. Okay? So right here on the left. These are kind of important. So your wrist and your helmet, they're going to give you fire damage, all right? So kind of pay attention to what socket's going to do what. If I were to lose out a socket on my boots, I wouldn't really be worried because I more so use this build to farm, and I just blow through it. So try to get all the sockets on your gear. That would be, that's optimal. All right. What's next? All right, stat rolls out. We went over that. Skills. Pretty straightforward. 1, 2, 1, 2. This is going to cause the AoE. 5 points in this. This is your attack increase. You're probably asking me, why do you have 3 points in that? You don't even use that skill. Just wait. I put 5 points into max HP. Again, you're probably like, why are you doing that? It makes no sense. Just wait. 3 points into this gives you 20% CDR. Really important. Range damage. If you guys are like really having a hard time surviving, you can put points in this. This is just what I'm using in my farm build. If I was starting the game, this is what I would do. So like normal, max life. This is going to give you 25% all res. So reduces damage caused by scorch, shock, cold, freeze. This is what I would do if I were you. Let me get down here. Let me go through these real quick. So back to where we were. So I wouldn't use Raging Souls if I was a new player, because what it does is you're going to do 50% more damage when they're over 80% life, and you're going to do 50% less when they're under 20%. So if you're really having a hard time finishing stuff, don't use this. If you're one-shotting everything, totally use this. You know what I mean? If it helps you one-shot, then use it. Really, this is only good if you're one-shotting stuff. So I wouldn't do that if I was a new character. All right, so 5 points in damage bonus. That's a must. This, you take 50% more damage, but you're going to do 15% more. Not a bad idea. Then damage reduction, 20%, huge. Obviously, 1 point in turncoat. And this is where it gets interesting. Okay, Element Master. So basically, every time you attack with a different element than your previous, you're going to get a 10% damage bonus that stacks until the end of your turncoat. So you've got 15 seconds to stack as much as you want. Okay? You're like, well, how do I do that? Remember this? So what this does is it's going to cause these little orbs to orbit your character, right? What they do is they look out and they seek for bad guys. Okay? These are lightning. This is lightning damage floating around, okay? Are they gonna let me do this? Oh, they are. There's that times thing I was telling you about earlier. Right there. That's your multi attack. So basically what happens is these little orbs are gonna come out and they are lightning damage, okay? That's lightning attack you just did. Lightning damage, fire damage, lightning damage, fire damage. See how I'm alternating back and forth? There's that turncoat stack. So watch this. Turncoat's activated. Fire damage, lightning damage. Oh, what's that? 10% damage boost stacking. But remember, you have to do your auto attacks in between. So you can let those go around. They're all three gone. Click it again. Keep auto attacking. They're all three gone. Do it again. See how that number just kept going up? Auto attack. Click it. Let them do their thing for a second. Auto attack. Let them do their thing for a second. I've got 12 stacks and we're not even halfway through the alt yet. Guys, look at that. I got 140% damage increase and the alt's still not over. Okay, so realistically, if you're doing it, you look like this. I'm auto attacking, renew it, auto attacking, renew it. When you TP, it also does it. Renew it, renew it, renew it. I'm up to 22 stacks, renew it. 24 stacks, 240% damage increase, okay? See how that works? So that's how that works. Real simple. It's going to allow you to keep those stacks going, man. Huge. You have to constantly be tapping that in turncoat. Tap it, auto attack, give it like, I don't know, 4 or 5 seconds, tap it again. Okay? Make sure you're paying attention to your turncoat cooldown. That's right. We'll talk about that again as well. Down to this skill. You're wondering why I put a point in this. 10% chance for Frost Gem to deep freeze. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to deep freeze the target. There's a 10% chance to do it, but when you do it, you're going to do 10 times more damage for 1 second. Now you're like, wow, 1 second, that's irrelevant. That doesn't do anything. Yeah, well, 10 times your regular damage for 1 second. The boss vanishes. A 150 boss will vanish if this procs, okay? So I honestly just keep this on my bar and I just spam it at the boss. Okay, usually I don't really need it now because obviously I have more gear. But as a starting player, I'm spamming this on the boss for a 10% chance just to one-shot him, okay? Later on, you probably don't need this. But as a new player, I would definitely be using this. It's going to help you clear these bosses really quick, okay? So let's hop over to your must in this build, okay? CDR needs to be 64.8 or 65. That's going to make your turncoat cooldown, I think, to matches your duration. So there we go. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. See what I mean? It's back to back. Turncoat has to be up. Your damage does not exist if turncoat's not up. And the reason is, remember guys, when turncoat's on, you're going to get this disgusting damage boost, okay? So make sure we always have turncoat up. And in order to do that, you need 64% CDR. Okay, you have to have it. My crit is extremely low right now for some reason. I don't know what it is, but anyway. Your crit, like I said, the higher your crit is, the more chance you're going to have the opportunity to multi-attack. Which is this. This is huge. Try to get 100% crit, 99% crit. You have to have it. You just do. Okay? You're going to be getting that from your items, so make sure your CDR, crit. Remember, try to get a gem slot, try to get crit rate, try to get CDR. Those are the 3 big ones. I would say make sure you're getting the gem slot first. Like I said, get the gem slot first. But if the item's just trash, guys, if you roll an item and it's like attack percent, like attack speed, like elite damage, and a socket, like I wouldn't even mess with that. If it's the only thing you got, then sure. Just make the best of it. You know, roll crit on it. Okay, roll crit on it. Roll whatever you're missing. I'm sorry. Roll the socket. If it doesn't have a socket, roll the socket. But if you've got an item that's that bad, I wouldn't even try to make it fancy at that point, right? You ideally want to try to get 2 of these off the initial roll, and then and then go for socket if you don't have it already. Okay. But that's, yeah. I'm probably confusing this more than it should be, but yeah, that's the premise. Uh, Gyms. I mean, we pretty much covered gyms. I think. I mean, attack, movement speed. I mean, you don't really need to swap this out if you're doing Inferno, which this isn't for Inferno. This is new players, so ignore that. Movement speed is not a bad idea. If you're really having trouble, put attack percent. This should be fire damage, and this is for whatever you're lacking. Okay. So for example, I'm lacking. I have 67% crit. That is not good. I have a bunch of attack speed already because of that item or one of our main weapons. So what can I do? I can go in here, swap out attack speed. 83. That's not bad. For me, I've already got enough damage. I would say it's I would go the extra mile here. There we go. All right. Still got 365% attack speed. That's insane. Okay. If you've got crit and you've got the CDR, attack speed gems. Okay. But make sure you've got 64% CDR. Make sure you've got at least, 90 to 100% crit. Okay. What else? Empowerment. I'm not really going to tell you what to do here, other than make sure your weapon has fireball spell increase. Anything that's an attack weapon, make sure it has a fireball spell increase on it. So weapon, and it'll say right here. See that? See how that's kind of grayed out? That's for like defense items. So like this. See how that? Yeah. See. So attack, fireball, fireball, rings, fireball damage. Ignore that. That's actually, I'm using this for a different build, but this will be fireball damage, okay? Make sure this is fireball damage. So those 4 items, fireball damage. You can, the reason I told you guys to get 75% elite damage or try to is because there's a stat on the universal page here. It's when your elite damage is higher than 75%, you can get a damage bonus increase. I believe that's up to 30%. Yeah. That's a good roll. For your second roll, I would suggest either Blink grants, damage bonus up to 5% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. I would do this, or I'd more likely make sure you have a fire elemental penetration. Make sure you have at least 80%. If you can get 2 of those rolls on 2 of your items here, I would do Blink on 2 other items, okay? It's not a bad idea. The rest of this, I'm not going to suggest because I'm still messing with this. It's really hard to mess with this when we don't even have an ability to farm and power primal crystals. So, you know what I mean? Resonance or refinement, I guess is what this is called. Oh, that's cool. It's bugged. All right. Well, I can't move. So I guess this is the end of the video because this is technically the last thing I need to cover. If you don't have a refinement thing yet, go over here to refinement. You're going to have these 4 slots to upgrade. I would try to roll them at 10% and keep resetting until you get the first one at 10%. They do provide a lot of damage. Your weapon slots provide a lot of damage. Your ring slot and your amulet slot provide damage. The rest of them supply HP. This is really kind of in-game stuff, guys. So no players, you probably won't worry about this. So I'm not really going to go in on that. But yeah, that's kind of the idea of the build, guys. So if I could get out of this, I would totally show you what's going on here. But you know what? How about we just do this? We'll reset the game real fast. Grab some water. And in fact, I will show you the character that I actually leveled from level 1 to 150. And this is just the base gear I got. So it doesn't need to be amazing, but it's literally everything I talked about. Okay, your gear doesn't have to be that amazing. Here's damage bonus roll, attack percent, attack speed, crit rate. Okay, I'm pretty sure I gassed out on the slot on this, and I had to take the 13% crit. But yeah, same with this. Sometimes you just don't get the roll you want. So, but even then, guys, like, look, I don't have sockets of any of this stuff. This is all basic gear, but I have exactly the items that I said. And you know, I cleared why I'm up. I got to Inferno 1. So this guy has literally no good gear, and you know he's pushing things. So look, don't even have those 3. Oh, did I not go over the glove? I didn't go over the gloves. I apologize. I didn't, did I? So basically, what you'll have to do here is Grip of Stardust. Your fireball damage is increased by 250%. There's a 15% chance of causing a range explosion when hitting an enemy. There's a lot of debate around the wrist part of this. People will use this. I know people who will use... where's it at? These in the place of on their character. It's really up to you, but these are the 3 ones that you'll go. Seraph's Light, it's a stacking one. You get 2.5% chance when you use the skill to get a damage bonus. I know a lot of people that'll use that. I personally clear so fast that does not help me, but Inferno it would. If you're a new character, I would probably go with Arcane Guardian, and I would go with these. So there you go. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit the comment section. I'll answer as much as I can. But yeah, that's pretty much the idea of the build, guys. So thanks and good night.